Hi guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley, and this is a great episode about the Shrewsbury Arts Trail private exhibition that I was invited to by the beautiful, the amazing John Wragg. Thank you so much for inviting me to such a great event. It was held at the Shrewsbury Museum and Art Gallery. In this episode, you're going to hear from some very, very great people that are just responsible for some fantastic art. Before we get into it, though, a bit of a disclaimer. This episode was meant to be released on Monday, the 7th at 6 a.m. It is now Monday the 7th at 11:51, and I'm just piecing this together. See, what I did was, right, collected all these interviews from my H6 microphone, which has got an SD card on it, and whilst I was working, I plugged in my hard drive, external hard drive, and my H6, and what I did was I rendered the audio. So I have to render the audio before I work with it, which means I have to switch it. I have to merge it all together. I then have to run it through a condenser to turn it into something that's a bit more clear. And then what I tend to do is get it ready to just throw into some editing software. What I was going to do was put it into a hard drive, take it with me, and then do it in a coffee shop somewhere. I had a meeting in the old market hall in Shrewsbury yesterday, and I was going to sit and do it. And I whipped out my hard drive and realised instead of putting the audio onto my hard drive, I put it back on the microphone, which is at home. So I'm a day late. I'm not a day late. I'm a few hours late with this. So here's me editing now, rush editing this. So I was chatting to Daniel Cat on Threads, which, by the way, is fantastic. If you've not seen Threads yet, it's basically Mark Zuckerberg has created his own version of Twitter, which if you do social media, it's usually met with a bit of skepticism, more social media, but I think people are just going to replace that Twitter with that. But I was chatting with Daniel Cat about editing and how long it takes. I was meant to do this for 2 hours yesterday. I've been doing this, and I've been going for literally, it says I've started a stopwatch soon. The moment I started editing today, and it's on exactly 1:01:59. So I've been doing this 2 hours. That's a bit of procrastination, a bit of coffee making. I had a quick chat with my son on the phone for a little bit, Leon. You all know Leon. So yeah, it's taken me an extra 2 hours out of my day to put this together. But it's beautiful. It's really nice. It's a great bit of audio, and I'm so grateful to have had these people on the show. You're going to hear from John Wragg. You're going to hear from the brand new Richard, the artist from Studio 67. You're going to hear John Finn, who's a deaf artist who's now going blind, who created an amazing piece of art that I fell in love with. The High Sheriff Many Thorn, the first time we've spoken to her on this one, wonderful. Ellie Cliftlands, Maggie Love, Julia Goldmsith, Phil Langstaff, Andrew Logan, Jane Beesley, who I've seen at many events, and we've not really had the time to speak to her. It just never happened. So we finally got to speak to her. That's great. Yulia Lavrenchuk, she's a great artist from Ukraine. And of course, this is bookended by two great chats with John Wragg, who invited us along, who's got a great piece there. If you've not been to see the Arts Trail yet, it is still up until August. There is a booklet circulating through town. It's most coffee shops, a lot of places will have this booklet. There's also, which will tell you where the bits of art are being situated, where you can see them. There's also, if you Google Shrewsbury Arts Trail 2023, there's a downloadable map as well, which is how I circulated through town and looked at things. But I'll get onto that at the end of this episode. Do yourself a favour, go and be a tourist in your own town. Go and take a walk around Shrewsbury and take a look at some of this wonderful art. Most of it you can buy. So if you see a piece there that you really, really like, you can own that piece. So please take a look at the various locations around town and enjoy this amazing Shrewsbury Arts Trail that's been painstakingly put together in such a beautiful manner. But we're going to discover that now. We're going to go into this and find out what is the Shrewsbury Arts Trail and why is it so important. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I'll catch you guys at the end of it all. Peace out. Hey guys, so I'm coming to you today from Shrewsbury Museum and Art Gallery. This is for the Shrewsbury Arts Trail, which is it's going to be open fully tomorrow, and there's a special exhibition being held today up in the museum, and we're going to speak to a few people that are contributing to today. We'll speak to some organisers. I got invited today by John Wragg. I don't know if you remember, a while back we had him on the show. He was a fantastic guest. And you know what, the Shrewsbury Biscuit, it's all about making friends. And John is someone I definitely made a friend out of from doing the show, and he's invited me along because his piece has been exhibited today. So we're going to go find him. We're going to find some interesting people to speak to. This is all about art and culture, which you know we love on this show. So let's go find some people. So I've taken a walk into the hall and I found Mr. Wragg. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Taking everything into consideration.
Yes. I didn't know whether we were going to talk about that today, but
I don't mind. Whatever you want to ask.
Yeah. So you've had a diagnosis, haven't you?
I have. Yeah, I've got prostate cancer.
Yeah, and what does that do to your mindset? You know, you've got this legacy of work and the things that you've created that can go on. You can live in infamy with your work, couldn't you?
I guess I could. But I've spent most of my life doing it, as you know from our previous interview. I've been decided to be an artist since I was a young lad, 11. But I've been successful in spates, but I've never really hit the big time.
And here you are today, exhibited alongside Salvador Dali and Banksy, and there's some amazing artists here. As in James Millichamp there, I've met him a couple of times too. There's some great artists here, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is. It's very impressive, especially for Shrewsbury.
Absolutely. Now, with your diagnosis, how much did you want to divulge on that? I mean, it must be really hard for you, you know.
Well, I'm just sanguine about it. I accept the fact that it can be cured.
Of course.
And it's just going to take 2 months of solid radiotherapy, and then at the end of it, I hope to be clear. But everything's hit me at once. I've just had this cataract done on my right eye, and now I've got to go back next week to have this one examined to be done. But in a way, that's good. It's all concentrated in one period.
So by the end of this, you'll be full and fit and
able to see.
You'll have a full MOT. So tell us about the piece that you've supplied today for the Arts Trail.
Fourth Kind Crystal.
The Fourth Kind Crystal.
Yeah, it's based on what's known as quasi-crystal geometry. And that was discovered initially as a mathematical idea, purely mathematical. And it basically consists of 2 units, only 2 units. One's a fat rhomboid and one's a thin rhomboid. And they can be put together in an infinite number of ways, and they can be put together to produce non-repeating patterns to infinity. And it's a very interesting concept, and I'm using it quite a lot in different ways at the moment.
It's almost like quantum art. Because there's like a mechanical engine behind it that, like you said, can create an infinite amount of patterns. I'm
very interested in quantum physics, and especially the geometry connected with it.
Yeah, to describe the piece, I mean, guys, as I'm going to release this, the Arts Trail is up and live until August.
Yes.
So come and see it. It's a 2D piece that looks like you could just put your hand inside it. That's how I was describing it. It's a really great looking piece.
Thanks.
When did you conceive this idea?
Oh, it was quite a while back.
Yeah.
I built it some time ago, but I built a lot of things that are related to it, and in paintings, in 2D work.
We met you at the Hive last year.
You certainly did.
And some of the visuals I got from that, just for like Reels and TikTok, which is like, it seems like an eye roller for Reels and TikTok. But actually, do you know what? That's some of the finest visuals we've got ever had on our social media. Just going around with a camera and just scanning your artwork, it was such a pleasure for the eye because of the colours and the way you bring things out.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm glad you like it.
I did. I really did. Are you seeing lots of artists here that you recognise today?
Not at all. No.
So this is an icebreaker for you.
Well, Yeah, I don't know half the artists, and I mean, a lot of the famous ones are obviously dead, so they're not going to be here.
Hello, Mr. Dali. How are you today? Well, this is what I mean. Dali's work. People talk about Dali's work. People talk about artists forever. If you can make it like you have, if you can make it like Doodleboy has, like some of these the finest Banksys of the world. When we talk about living in infamy, people will be talking about your work forever, right?
I'd like to get my work in, proper collections if I could, rather than just selling to private individuals. It's very gratifying to sell on any basis, but if you sell to a private individual, basically that work then disappears, unless it's on loan, like much of the work here or whatever. But if it's in a collection or in a museum or an art gallery as part of their permanent collection, it obviously gets seen, and then I would hope to get critical attention.
Oh, great, because that's the thread I was pulling there with that is that the goal of an artist in general, is to have that piece that lives on forever?
Certainly is mine. I mean, it has been all the way through. It's just eluded me.
And when it comes to imposter syndrome or anything that might hold you back, is it a case of, I'm a diamond and I'm going to shine? Have you got to give yourself that license?
Yeah, the basis is the drive to work. I have to work, regardless of what. And that's what's going to sustain me through this next period that we've just talked about.
Yeah, well, I think it's very inspirational for anybody to go and do what you've done. I mean, I can't do what artists can do. I mean, this is what I do, talking to a microphone.
Yeah, but that's an art.
I like to say so too. This is an art, what I do.
Yeah.
He's looking at me very seriously. I agree. I know it is. It's very... Not everybody can do what everybody can do, right?
Of course not, no. We've all got our individual strengths. Maybe they overlap with other people's, but not always.
I like that. Thank you. You are emboldening me as we talk. Is there any pieces here? Are there any pieces here that you've had a good look at yet that you recognise or like?
I don't recognise any of them. I mean, I'm quite familiar with Dali's work, but I have to confess, I didn't even know he'd made large bronze sculptures.
I've been to two of his exhibitions, one in Bruges and one in Venice, right? And there were like sketchbooks and big, but there's like millions of pieces. Right? Very
interesting. I tend to prefer Dali's earlier work. When he got to America, he actually he became the first art businessman, and I think his work suffered as a result of that.
So do you think the controversy sort of switched him into a different kind of artist then? Because
I think he was very influenced by Gala, his wife, who was very commercial-minded, shall we say.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, since I've started doing the Biscuit, 5 years coming up, art has changed for me, because I used to look at art and think, oh yeah, that's cool. But having spoken to so many artists and having been to so many events, I look at pieces like this now and they genuinely move me. Like I've learned an awful lot.
Yeah.
Like this for example, we're looking at Sam Francis, and this
very famous early American artist in the 50s and 60s. He was very big, and he did massive work as well.
Yeah. See, I didn't know who Sam Francis was, so I'm learning even more.
Right. Yeah.
And this is what this is all about. So this has been around for a long time. And every time some young person or somebody like me who didn't know about them sees it, the inspiration starts all over again.
Right, good.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. I think this whole concept, that Jessica Richards has got together really with the help of all the other people, it's amazing. And I mean, Shrewsbury should really be proud of what she's doing and pump as much energy into helping her as possible. She's already thinking about next year's trail, which I believe the theme is going to be light. I think that could be very, very exciting.
That can be thought of in many different ways.
Absolutely. You obviously very familiar with Andy McEwen.
Of course. Yeah.
He literally works with light.
We'll probably see him here tonight, actually. I imagine.
Sorry?
We'll probably see him here tonight, I imagine.
You won't. He's gone for his annual holidays to Rossniger.
Oh, has he? Oh, okay. It's all right for some, isn't it? Well, Jess, we're not allowed to speak to her today because she doesn't do very well with microphones. She says, she's like, don't come and put the microphone in my face, Alex. That's what she said. But Jess, if you're going to listen to this, well done for doing what you've done. I mean, not only has she created something that is worthy of this town, but people are talking about it across the whole country.
Yeah.
There's Salvador pieces in Shrewsbury that have never been in the UK before.
Yeah. I mean, it's she's already been covered by The Guardian. I think Television's been here. It's a shame they're not here tonight.
Well, they've got the biscuit. It's the next best thing. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find some interesting people to speak to.
Yeah.
You go and enjoy some art, and I'll come back to you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you for inviting me today. Lovely.
More than welcome.
Oh, wicked. Fantastic.
From the inside pocket.
I've just been given 2 tickets to a new studio, Studio 67. The mic's live.
Oh.
You got to say hello now. That's it.
Well, hello to everyone. We're opening tomorrow. It's after 40 years in the chemical industry, I've left and decided to pursue art. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I won't bankrupt the family.
And what's your name, sorry?
Richard Royal.
Richard, well, thank you so much for these tickets.
Well, it's great, and we'll see you there. There's plenty of drinks on the go tomorrow. We hope to get a lot of people in. Hank Marvin are there doing like a food fair event. And also we've got the Arts Trail doing their thing. So with a bit of luck, there'll be a lot of footfall and it'll be a nice opening. But come along and we'll try and entertain you, and hopefully you'll leave drunk.
That'd be really nice. Wearing your heart on a sleeve like this, on a big scale like this, building up to something like that, what is that like?
It's pretty stressful, actually. I thought working for the chemical business was stressful, but when you're actually doing it for yourself, you start to care about every little detail of what's going on. And honestly, I've become so picky about but Lucy's done great for us. She's our social media manager. She's like controlling all the stuff that's going on. Even the font of all the posters and everything's got to be on theme. All the emails are going to be on theme. Everything. There's so much in it.
Very important.
So much more.
When it comes to creating your own identity for what it is you want to do, when it comes to the minuscule things like fonts and colours and themes, it's really important, right?
It's massively important, yeah. I think we want to, get Dad's vision out there, and it's very inspiring for me to have him follow his dream to be an artist after 30 years in the chemical industry, 39, and I think it's just really inspiring, and it's incredible that you've had the opportunity to get this space in the Parade, which is such a great shopping centre, and just to open it and live your dream, really. And then if I can help you in any way with making sure everything's on brand, and it seems, we want people to recognise Studio 67 when they see something, whether it's in context or not.
We're following kind of Andy Warhol's ethos, where we want to make art accessible to everyone. So keep the price low, and make it accessible rather than being threatening, as it sometimes is. When you go into a gallery, it can be threatening and unfriendly. We did a lot of research. We went to Paris, went around Saint-Germain, looked at how their art quarter ran the galleries, and they're normally bright white with a surly Frenchman in the background. So there will be no surly Frenchman at the back of Studio 67. There'll just be somebody welcoming you with a coffee and a drink, and hopefully just talking you through the art. And we aim to keep it that kind of Warhol thing, the factory art thing, where everyone can have a bit of original art.
I can tell you that is a huge, huge thing. I went to a gallery in Liverpool a few months ago, and it was where, do you know Disney, the artist Disney?
Yeah.
I went and saw, that's where he usually puts all of his art, and they were so welcoming in there that we had really long conversations about art. And when someone can open up like that rather than be like, hey, who are you? That is really, really...
I think that it is really important, because obviously I've been an art lover all my life, but I felt threatened by some galleries, because you go in and you think there's kind of there's almost kind of a class system works within the art world. And I think you've got to break that down, because everybody loves art. We all have a bit of art in our homes, whether it's wallpaper or family photographs or anything. And it's making it accessible and making people welcome. That's what we're aiming to do.
Well, I've come here with John Wragg today, who's got a piece over here, the diamond piece over there.
Oh, beautiful, yeah.
He's a wonderful artist, and he just shouted at me because I was like, well, I can't do what you do, John. And he was like, well, nobody can do this. And I was like, well, I'm just talking to a microphone, but
everyone needs to find their own capability and their own everyone. I think art is what's inside you. I think if people find their way of expressing art, then it can do so many things. Like it can help with mental health. It's a very mindful act. Although mindful is a buzzword, it's a very mindful activity, because when you're focusing on doing something, you're not doing anything else. You're not thinking about anything else. So.
Thank you. That's really, really important. Because that is the best part about what I do. Is when I'm talking to you guys now and we're deep in conversation, I'm not thinking about the bills. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing tomorrow, or whether I've did I leave the oven on? I hope I didn't. But it's like it's true. If you've got focus,
I'm the same. When I paint, I don't drink or eat. When I get in the zone,
you have to remind him to eat.
Yeah, we do have to remind him to eat. I think the best thing is everything else around you falls away, and you're in that moment, you're creating that piece of art, and you're just enjoying yourself, and nothing else really matters at that point in time.
Until it all goes wrong.
And can I just say that he texted me earlier and said, can you just bring us 4 Gregg sausage rolls?
To be fair, it was the end of a long day.
Let's not get carried away.
That's really, really funny. It is good, and a spouse that supports an artist.
Yeah, she's great. I hadn't painted for a long time, and she encouraged me to paint again, and I picked it up and then never stopped. And now, obviously, we've had to get the studio because she's fed up of me making a mess at home.
Well, it's true though. I think for some reason he was suppressing himself, and I was thinking, why aren't you painting? Why aren't you doing this? He's like, well, I don't know. I think, well, that's not a good enough excuse, just do it. Then he started doing it and he can't stop, and I'm like, oh my God. So, and it's just fab. And the whole family's involved in it in some kind of form, be it like social media or creating. We're all involved in it, which is great because it gives us something to do together, which is...
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good for all of us.
One of the analogies I give for good art, I talk about hungry artists. Hungry, whether it comes from passion, whether it comes from the will to survive. I talk about the Arctic Monkeys, right? Because those first 2 Arctic Monkeys albums were sublime, amazing. And then they weren't a starving band anymore, and it kind of...
Oh my God, I'm so with you. And I think the Arctic Monkeys, I think what they lost is the poorness. They had something to sing about when they were poor, and they were gritty and real. And then all of a sudden, what do you sing about when you're a multimillionaire living in LA? Where's your gritty passion?
Well, I've got something to say.
I'd like to be living in LA and a multimillionaire, though. And also stop painting and lose my inspiration. I'd love that.
Then the art galleries would change, I'm pretty sure.
I think that happens to every artist. Kind of, you reach that kind of level where you think, oh, I never thought I'd get here. What do I do now? And you always think, I'm not going to do navel gazing. But they always do, because it's what the Beatles did, it's what the Stones did. And I think Alex Turner, unfortunately, was a bit of a pastiche of himself, a bit of a caricature of himself.
He will find himself again.
He'll find himself again, absolutely.
I think it's a case of getting over yourself, which is...
But look at Bowie.
Bowie did the same.
Started something now.
I mean, Bowie never really kind of. He had his personas. He had his Ziggy Stardust, Thin White Duke, and he had all that. But kind of Bowie owned it. But somehow, I think because Arctic Monkeys started off as that guttural working class band, it looks like they've betrayed the working class because they've elevated above it, whereas Bowie started off as like Ziggy, he didn't start off, but the mainstream of him was Ziggy Stardust, and then he went Thin White Duke, And then he went to his Young Americans phase, and then he went to his Berlin phase.
Do you have a Ziggy Stardust
Yeah.
of your art?
Literally, I'm obsessed with Bowie. There's 4 portraits of Bowie in the gallery, in different phases of his life.
You will edit this, won't you?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm going to put like funny music and sound effects and.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. But I do believe that the Arctic Monkeys will find themselves again. Whether it.
No, me too. I really think they will. I think
Everybody goes through this phase. Everyone.
And really, when you think about it, Alex Turner's probably thinking, "Oh my God, have I got to play?"
He's a big fan of the show, by the way. He'll definitely listen to it.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want to sing the same things as he sang when he was 20, does he?
No offence, Alex. No offence. So, Studio 67. I had a studio in the Parade a couple of years ago, and it is a very fine place, as in a recording studio, as in the Biscuit. Yeah. I used to have a studio in there. People used to come and record there.
Oh, wow.
But then we were making use of the empty units. I was like, "Yo, I'm really poor.
Here we are.
Yeah. Give us a studio." I record at home and come to events like this. I'm very good friends with a lot of really nice establishments. Got some great collaborators in Shrewsbury. Yesterday we were recording on the picnic boat with Sabrina, talking about river safety. You know, we've got some really.
Sabrina.
Who are you?
Shrewsbury Biscuit.
I'm the Shrewsbury Biscuit. I'm the biscuit guy.
I thought she was quoting the Who then. Who are you?
Who are you?
Please no.
Right, okay, well this is fantastic. It opens tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
I might pop by.
Yeah, pop by. Like I say, there's a few drinks.
Golden ticket.
No. I can't. Golden tickets are on random. They just get pulled out. There's
20.
Yeah. Amongst all the tickets we're handing out, we're going to hand out loads at the Hank Marvin Food Fair tomorrow. There's 20 golden tickets, and if you get a gold leaf ticket, then you get an extra 10 entries into the draw for an original oil painting of Marilyn Monroe. So
Wonderful.
An original. So they look like screen prints, but they're not. They're original oils. That's the vibe.
And also, there's a quiz that we've got going. If you can come into the gallery and name all the subjects of every portrait, there's a £100 off voucher.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you my card. Well, if you find me on social media, drop me a message. That's probably easier. Let's organise a sit-down, proper interview. We'll sit there for a good hour.
Yeah.
Come into the gallery. We'll have a sit-down and a chat, and then you can see the stuff as well while we're...
Thank you for this. Wish you the best of luck. You're in a great place for it. I've just been walking around. I've just seen Mike Perkins. I've just seen... Who's there? Yeah, one of the biggest comic book artists on the planet.
I've seen a guy who said he was Banksy, but I caught him out and he's not. I said, how about your show in Glasgow? He said, yeah, they did really well. I mean me.
Not done yet. The show's not on yet.
Yeah.
Right, thank you so much for chatting to me. Our social media, where can people find you?
Studio 67, Shrewsbury.
Brilliant. Nice chatting to you guys.
Thank you.
That's the artwork.
Do you want to introduce yourself? Because you don't. You're the conduit.
I'm just a listener.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. Thank you so much. Can we introduce this fine gentleman today?
My name's Finn, John Finn, and I'm from Ironbridge. I grew up as a sighted person, but now a few years back I become registered blind, so I can hardly see anything now, so no more than a metre. Yeah, before I was a filmmaker and an animator, but now since I've become registered blind I've had to give up that side of things, filmmaking and animation, and gone more into art, and I've created this piece here that we're looking at here. This is based on a memory of mine from when I was a sighted person. I went to visit Barcelona, and they have some beautiful cathedrals there. Hasn't been finished yet. Went right up to the top of the tower just to have a view of Barcelona, but I noticed people looking down at something, and it was actually a hole in the ground just at the top of the tower. So I looked down there and I realised there's a massive hole, and all the way down to the bottom there's just a sheer drop. And that kind of shocked me really and had an effect on me. And I had to pretty much crawl away from the hole on my hands and knees. And that was my first experience of having vertigo. So I've created that. It's based on my memory from that. Yeah, so it's from when I was a sighted person, so it's a memory from them.
Fantastic. So you did this while you were hard of sight?
Yeah. I did that as a blind person. Yeah, so I do rely on a lot of technology in order to produce my work. So it kind of reduces things and enlarges things. So I can work on them, enlarge, and then reduce them. So, you could actually bring them up to an extreme size, and then when you go to print, you reduce them. I would never be able to do that as it is in this scale at the moment. So I do rely on technology to enlarge things whilst I work on them, then you reduce them back to their actual size.
As someone who is gradually going blind, as I understand it?
No, I'm already blind, so I'm registered blind, but the next step is I'm going to go even more blind, as it were. So it's time for me really essentially is running out in terms of the sight that I've got left. So it's just what I'm actually doing is trying to use the memories, and memories I would describe as being very fragile. So you can't remember everything, all the details. Some of it kind of fades away. So, I can't remember what snowdrops look like specifically. So, yeah, you can actually, if you enlarge them, I could probably see them. But in order to see them as they appear in nature, no, that's not happening these days.
And to be able to have a piece like this at an event like this, what does that mean for you?
It means a lot to me, really, because as a deaf-blind person, it's, you've got exhibitions like this with other people here, so I could actually just become inverted, really, hide in my shell, but what I've been doing is kind of like haptic art, really, it's kind of more tactile, but then, so to be invited here and to exhibit here was really, really special.
And how extensive is your catalogue of work since you started losing your sight? Are you speeding up to get it done in time?
Yeah, it's quite new really, and quite new to the art world really, so it was just kind of, I assumed it was kind of highbrow and probably hard for me to actually access and fit into this world. But it's good for me to actually make this kind of interpretation of my work and what I see and put it into my work.
So to be part of this must mean elation for you. Absolutely. Yeah. It's as a blind person, I never thought that this would happen, that I'd actually be able to exhibit here. When I was filmmaking and doing animations, I never really thought about the artwork, that I'd ever be involved in it. But being able to actually be in here, it's been difficult getting it. It's been a long journey, but that's who I am. I'm here now, and it's great. So to actually have this work selected to be exhibited, I feel it's one of the strong pieces of work that I've done. So it's kind of fits into movement as well. If you actually look at it, you can feel that kind of movement going on in the frame. I think it's wonderful. I really do. I think when you talk about the drop with that context, it almost makes me feel queasy. Yeah, in terms of the art or something, as I say, I can't see, but it's all coming from the memories really, and actually putting those kind of the memories of movement and also visual memories as well in there. So it's almost in a way kind of childlike as well. So it's kind of sometimes time and the visual aspects of time are almost like frozen. Yeah, so a lot of my work is from when I was younger, from my youth. So it's based on how I remember things growing up as a young person, and now I'm getting older now. So it's obviously, I'm going to try and make the works kind of match my age, really. It's really quite difficult to explain where I'm at and where I'm going with it, you see. Sometimes I'll dream an idea, and I will have to get up and write it down and act upon it. Do you have a dream about art and have to make something from that dream?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for chatting to me today.
Thank you.
Where can people find your art? Can they see it online anywhere?
At the moment, I'm new to the art world, so I'm just trying to develop a website. I'm not particularly good at that side of things, but I'm certainly trying. So, believe me, I'm trying.
Can I get you to introduce yourself as well? You've done a fantastic job as an interpreter.
I'm Paul Siroky, sign language interpreter.
Well, thank you so much for chatting to me today.
No problem. Thank you very much.
I found the High Sheriff Many Thorn. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's just fab to be here.
How's things been for you since your appointment? Have you had a good time?
It's been amazing. Just being able to go all the way around the county, go to see amazing organisations, meet brilliant people. How fortunate, how privileged I am. It's wonderful.
Sounds like a great time. And today to be like what seems like the epicenter of inspiration. And seeing all these amazing artists. I was just speaking to a gentleman that is both deaf and blind.
Oh my goodness.
And he's created this amazing piece over here, the circular piece.
Yeah, there is some amazing art here. I mean, one of the reasons that you found me standing where I am is that actually a friend of ours has a piece on display.
Wow.
So, which is amazing. So Ellie, she's made an engraving. It's a lovely engraving of Morris dancers in the square here in Shrewsbury. So, and as my husband is actually on the engraving because my husband is a Morris dancer. Little known fact, I'm a High Sheriff with a Morris dancing husband.
I love that. We'll have to.
Everybody laughs.
We'll have to put that on a plaque somewhere.
I think so, don't you? Absolutely.
I was at the food festival at the weekend, seeing the Morris dancers dancing in the blazing heat, and I was like, I don't.
Yeah, he was one of those. And while that was going on, which I'm told was amazing, I was in South Shropshire. I was at the South Shropshire Young People's Forum, and then on to Clun to have a look at the open gardens.
Wow.
So amazing. Yeah.
How tiring is it to go from one place to another? Because you must be at something different every day.
I am doing something just about every day. And yes, it's remembering what organisation, what to say sometimes. But I have great briefing notes. Everybody's really kind. And as I said, I'm just really fortunate. It's a brilliant thing to do.
I feel you. There are so many people here that I've met. I meet hundreds of people a year, and I see faces, and I'm like, I don't know who that is, but I know. I just saw. It's just taken me like a few minutes to remember the name David Waterhouse. I've just seen him now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go speak to him because he shouted at me on my podcast, rightly so, because he said, "When's the last time you came to your local museum?" I was like, it was about a year ago, and he was like, well, you should visit more often then. It was so brilliant. I loved it.
He's right. I mean,
absolutely.
I try and come here. I love this building. I love the museum. Just be able to wander around. And they do some really good stuff for the wider community in here as well. I came to a great session, Singing for the Brain. So singing and music for people with dementia.
Oh, wonderful.
Which was amazing. I mean, that's sort of, my background is looking after people with dementia. So to be able to come and join in with an afternoon session, very, very special.
Make sure you visit your museums, folks.
Yeah.
I'd love to invite you on the Biscuit properly so we can sit down. Have a good an hour sit down. And also, we're doing Pod Aid again this year in
That's
November.
What you did with Lee and Davis, didn't
That's
you?
right, yes.
Which, I've heard all about it.
Maybe you can come to that too. Maybe for an hour.
I would love to. If I've got the gap in my diary, I will come along. I could talk for Britain.
That's what we need on a podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much, and good luck with everything going forward.
Thank you, and it's so lovely to see you.
And you.
Take care.
So I'm Alex. I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ellie Cliftlands, and I'm a wood engraver.
A wood engraver, and what have you brought today?
So I have the print Shrewsbury Morris, which is the team I am part of.
This?
Yes.
That's engraving?
Yes, it is wood engraving, yeah.
That
it took about 2 weeks to engrave.
The detail on that is just phenomenal. Genuinely blow me away.
Tiny tools.
I mean,
I always say.
How young were you when you decided that this is what you wanted to do? I mean, like this is like raw talent.
I found it about 5 years ago, so 24.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is this something you just pick up and run with?
I started off doing woodcut, which you work along the grain, and someone said I was trying to put too much detail in, and they said it was more like wood engraving, which is on the end grain, and I just had a go and fell in love with it. I think it's the feel of the wood for me. It's the texture. It's the noise. Yeah.
What I'm looking at, by the way, is an image of the town square, some Morris dancers, and the buildings. Bearing in mind this is an engraving, have the most immaculate detail. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
And what does it mean for you to be displayed here today?
I feel so lucky, and to be in my hometown and have a piece of work that the whole town can see is really special.
It is special, and you got a great talent. I'd love to get you on the show sometime. Talk about your you and what you do.
That'd be amazing. Yes, that'd be nice.
Can people follow you on social media or see what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, just Ellie Cliftlands, and I have a website as well, and I'm also on Etsy.
Brilliant. Thank you for chatting to me today.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I found the one, the only, the amazing Maggie Love. How are you?
Hello, lovely to see you.
It's been a while.
Yes, but then that happens, doesn't it? Waves go around like that. And I have been busy planning John Weaver.
John Weaver. Who is this John Weaver fella? I know, but tell the people.
Shrewsbury dancing master from 1673, born here in Shrewsbury. His father was a Shrewsbury dancing master as well, here at Shrewsbury School. And although they moved to Bath as a family, his dad sent John Weaver, the junior, back to Shrewsbury to go to Shrewsbury School. So, educated right here in Shrewsbury, off he goes to London to learn some dance techniques, sits around in the courts and learns all the latest dance notation, the French dance notation, and lo and behold starts choreographing his own versions of ballet opera, which we would call ballet d'action. So they've got lots of gestures, a little bit of song still, lots of acting and an enormous amount of dance and beautiful Baroque music. And he becomes the top choreographer, producer of a production called The Loves of Mars of Venus in 1717. And then he says, okay, that's it, I've hit the top. I'll go back to Shrewsbury for a little while and raise more of my family. And then he goes back to London again, and he comes back again, and sadly his first wife dies in childbirth, so he marries again, and after 12 children he lives to 87 years of age, which is remarkable for the 18th century, absolutely remarkable. So it must be all down to the dancing, right?
Like, your brain is a marvel to me. There's no paperwork here. There's no dates in front of Maggie.
No.
Reels it off.
It's all coming out of my head, yeah.
And that's because dance is a huge passion of yours.
Well, yes. So I found out about John Weaver when I was studying O-level ballet too many years ago to even mention. It's quite a few decades ago. Let's just say we were just 1 year away from having celebrated the 300th anniversary. So you can do the math very quickly because this is the 350th anniversary. So I was studying O-level ballet and I came across John Weaver, Shrewsbury dancing master in the history of ballet, and I went, well, why don't I know about him? Here am I in Shrewsbury. Why don't I know about this guy? And so, well, not
we should
only
be
that,
saying we've got Charles Darwin and John Weaver.
Yeah, we should. We should be saying all of those things. And John Weaver was buried in Old St Chad's, which happened to be right across the road from where I was living and still am to this day. But I can't find his grave because sadly that church fell down a decade or so after he was buried there. But he was buried in the south aisle inside the church. That's how important he was.
Wow.
Yeah, really important.
Obviously, sounds like one of the greatest pioneers of ballet.
Ballet and really the root of English pantomime, because in those days the combination of doing a lot of gestures and mime to tell the story is what it's all about in ballet. So this is why this is the root of English pantomime as well as the root of English ballet, because the Commedia dell'arte group from Italy has just come over to Europe, the rest of Europe, and gone, hey, do you want to try these expressions and gestures in your new productions? And so this is why this is the root of English pantomime as well.
Do you know what we need?
Yeah.
We need a Netflix documentary on this guy.
Woo-wee. Wouldn't that be amazing?
So Netflix, I know you listen to my show.
Yeah.
Get in touch.
Let's get Lucy Wagner on it, one of the great historians for television. Let's really tell the story of John Weaver.
We've got you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be a part of it, of course. But I've got some amazing Baroque music and some reenactment of John Weaver's dance, The Loves of Marcelvinus, the production. That's happening at Theatre 7 on the 350th anniversary of his birth, the 21st of July, and there's still a few tickets available. There's going to be a workshop about gestures and mime on the 22nd, and there's a fabulous dance showcase on the 15th of July in St Mary's Church, and there's a secret flash mob going to happen as well on Pride Hill.
We're not going to tell you when, though.
No.
I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah, and a good 30-odd dancers are going to be dancing that day. So remarkable, and over 100 in St Mary's Church.
Well, me and you need to get our heads together then, don't we?
We do. Let's spend some more time together over the next couple of weeks, Alex.
Well, it's always lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you
and
too.
And what do you think tonight, by the way?
I am so happy about this. So yes, I have to fly the flag and say 2 years ago when Jess had completed the first Arts Trail, it was so stunning. I was so happy to see, meant so much quality. I said, what about 2023? How about a theme, something to do with this guy, John Weaver? And they came up with movement, and I said, yep, perfect. It's the perfect compliment to John Weaver.
Definitely compliments Dali as well.
Well, Dali is absolutely spot on for Weaver with all of its gesture.
Eccentricities.
Absolutely. And I mean, these are really not straightforward characters at all. You are talking comedic characters with a twist. So, yeah, absolutely perfect that Dali also became a part of this. This is a fabulous exhibition, as are all the exhibitions across town. Very exciting.
I know people can just Google it, but do you know a good resource if people want to read about John Weaver? Do you know where to go?
So there is a fabulous page on Original Shrewsbury that I wrote and then sent into them, and they put all the images in, and it gives you a great background and history of him.
Wonderful.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you, Maggie, for chatting to me. I hope you have a great evening.
All right, you too.
I've seen it.
So there are many pieces of art here at the Museum Art Gallery, and some of them aren't still. Some of them are moving on a screen, and I found the creator of Once on Screen. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Julia Goldmsith. I'm from Hereford, so I've travelled a little way today, but it's good to be here.
To see your piece displayed amongst Salvador Dali, Banksy, and some truly incredible art. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, it's just so nice because obviously when you're creating it can be quite insular, so it changes it completely when you put it into an exhibition space and you witness other people seeing it. It's a bit nerve-wracking, to be honest, but it's good to get the work out there for people to see it.
I've been to art installations from all around Shrewsbury and Shropshire, spoken to artists that are selling art, displaying art, and it's all about like wearing your heart on the sleeve in the most vulnerable kind of way, isn't it? Because you're watching people react, like you just said, to your piece. Are you surprised and are you pleased?
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, I think having the video is quite a nice element in amongst the kind of more static stuff on the wall. It just changes it up a bit because you've got sculpture, paintings, drawing, and then having the video. That's a really nice element.
Luke Crump there as well. Some really good things. Tell us about your art then. Where does it come from? Is this a lifelong journey of yours?
Well, not really. I mean, I'm a filmmaker. But recently I've been studying at Hereford College of Arts, doing a fine art degree. So it's kind of I'm doing more personal work now. That's come to me later in life, really. But that's good.
That's fantastic. I love that. We were talking about hungry artists.
Yeah.
And you can talk about rock bands that are young and hungry and the desires there. But when you've lived a life attached to the ball and chain of work and stuff, and all of a sudden you've got this time and this passion to go out and make art, that for me is a hungry artist, isn't it? So you've suddenly got this drive to make your own things and making them your own way. And how was that as a journey for you? Yeah, well,
sometimes it can feel like you're being too self-indulgent and you should be still doing all of the other things, but it's just very liberating, yeah. It just feels like really kind of serious play. It's kind of being playful, but taking it seriously and really investing time into it and energy. It's good, yeah.
Wonderful. And where can people find your art if they want? Are you online? Have you got a social media?
Yeah, I've got an Instagram page, Julia Mary Goldsmith. Yeah.
Brilliant. I expect a follow from the Shrewsbury Biscuit then. I'll give you a follow.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys as well follow her art, and well done for getting displayed on such a great occasion as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice to speak to you.
Thanks for chatting. So I'm stood on one of my favourite places in Shrewsbury, this balcony that looks over the museum. As nice as the art is here, there have been many times I've come for a long, arduous walk around the museum, come up here with my son, and just taking a breather on this balcony. But today we're surrounded by art. Would you like to introduce yourself to my listeners?
Yeah, my name's Phil Langstaff. I'm the project manager for the Arts Trail.
I know this is a trail, an event that's growing and growing. There was a hush then. Did you hear that?
Yeah, there was a hush then, yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be a speech. It's growing and growing, isn't it?
It has, yeah. I mean, the first year we were emerging out of the pandemic. Jess Richards, who's the founder of this, wanted to do something positive for the town. So we put on the Arts Trail. It was really aimed just at local artists. And we had a significant number of venues taking part. But then last year we started to introduce the sort of high-end arts as a way of attracting more people to the town, so we could expose those people to the local artists as well. Because it was always our aim to promote the local artists, basically.
To draw people and go, have you had a Luke Crump as well?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then it's got bigger and bigger. So because this year, Jess being the big thinker that she is, thought, well, let's bring over some Dali sculptures from Switzerland, which have never been exhibited in the UK before. So it's a real coup for Shrewsbury Town, really.
The egg from last year, Andrew Logan's egg, was one of the most photographed things in Shrewsbury throughout the whole year last year. As someone who's permanently attached to social media, I saw thousands of pictures of that egg.
Yeah.
Surely that must be a great seller for someone in Switzerland that goes, I don't really want to let this piece of art go. But then you explain to them the growth of something like this.
And I think that's exactly what happened. The company that loaned us the Dalis, it's called Dali Universe, they had heard about what we'd done with the Andrew Logan Sculpture Trail. And I think, like you say, they realised the potential for giving it some exposure over here, given the enthusiasm we had for making it happen, basically.
Speak of the devil, it's just behind you there, Andrew Logan. And as you're a project manager of this, how much of this project have you had to manage, and how difficult was it?
So it's a very small team, and basically the core team is myself, Jess and Ross Callahan. We've had help from other people as well, but it does mean as a project manager I didn't have that many people to delegate to, so usually you end up doing it yourself. So it's
sometimes that's the best way.
Well, yeah, as you can imagine, there's a lot of work gone into this to put on something of this scale, involving all the organisations. We've got 18 different venues taking part this year. We've had submissions from over 150 artists, over 300 submissions, and we've had to be a bit more selective with the local art this year, because last year we were able to exhibit absolutely everything because we had space for it. This year we just didn't have enough space for 300 pieces of work, basically. So yeah, it's been a lot of work, but very enjoyable, very rewarding, and to see it come off is hugely gratifying, really.
Well, I've been speaking to some of the artists today. I've got pieces exhibited, and I've got to tell you, the pride that people feel having their pieces here today, and I guess throughout certain places around town as well, is incredible. So, congratulations for you guys for actually inspiring some hungry artists as well, some people that really needed this.
Yeah, and that, as I said before, that was always the driver behind this. We wanted to. We have a lot of very creative people in Shropshire and beyond. We wanted to give them a platform to, really show off their work, and at the same time make art more accessible to the people of Shropshire, basically. So, that's why it's a free event for people to do the trail. They can go around, and now we've introduced the internationally renowned artists as a way of attracting more people to the town. So that benefits businesses in the town as well. So there's a real kind of cohesion about the whole thing, I think, really.
What I love about it as well is that in amongst, I think every single piece has its own amazingness about it, you know. And like, you know, I was chatting to Ellie about her wood carving over there.
Yes.
It's a small piece.
Yes.
Which means you've got to take some time to really look at these pieces of art, because in amongst that there is diamond there.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's really incredible.
Yeah, there's literally hundreds of hours of work gone into that piece. Ellie submitted a piece last year which was also in the exhibition, and we were just amazed at the detail she achieves in a wood engraving like that. It's just phenomenal. Well, one of the beauties this year, I think, is, if anything, the standard's gone up from last year, and we've got much more kind of diversity. So we've got some videos submitted for the first time. So we're really pleased to be able to include those. Probably more 3D work this year as well.
Well, with the theme being movement as well, it's kind of like, it really does add to it, doesn't it? You know, I've got to say, I've got a friend, Jane Pickworth. She's put a piece in today.
Yes.
And she's so proud.
I hung Jane's today actually in the Parade shopping centre.
She got confused. She was like, "Take a picture of my piece." I said, "No, I'm going to the museum." But I will definitely get it this weekend. Me and my son, we're going to go for a walk around Shrewsbury, and we're going to get some pictures and stuff. Because ultimately, that's what this is for, isn't it? To bring people into Shrewsbury, go and get some food, and go and get some culture.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to be operating a sort of B&B for the next 2 months. Because I've got so many of my friends who've said, "Oh, we'd like to come and visit and go around the trail." So, I'm going to be busy in a different way for the next couple of months, I think.
Well, brilliant. Well, thank you so much. And Jess and Ross as well. Is Ross about somewhere?
Ross is playing in a band tonight. So
Selfish.
Along with Charlie Adlard, apparently.
Yeah, they're at Heel, aren't they?
Is that where? Yeah, I didn't know.
Ross is a wonderful guy. Honestly, I remember I was on the scout for some music. A little bit of music that I could put on the background. Fired me some music straight away. What a lovely guy. So supportive of the Biscuit.
Oh, he is, yeah. It's been a pleasure working with him and Jess on this. I mean, it's very rewarding because they're such great people as well, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for chatting to me today.
No problem.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So I've bumped into the world-renowned Andrew Logan, who, if you took a picture of his amazing installation last year, which was, I think, probably one of the most photographed things in Shrewsbury, in the history of Shrewsbury. How did that feel to see?
Well, very honoured. I mean, we're talking about the Cosmic Egg, of course.
Of course.
5 metres tall, 2.5 metres across, 3/4 of a tonne, outside the castle.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's where we've come from and where we're all going.
Wonderful.
And it has galaxies and all over its surface with the primordial ocean in between, and it reflects. It's like a black hole, so it sucks in all the images around it. But it also gives out this mirror, so it reflects everything around it. So it is a very powerful piece.
And this is what I wanted to say, is that it's amazing how many pictures there were taken of it.
Yes.
But you had to get up close and personal to see the intricacies of it.
Yes.
How long does a piece how long did that egg take to make?
No, it was originally commissioned by the GLC for their Easter parade in Battersea Park, and the theme was peace. I'd just been to India, and I was preparing an Indian show for the Commonwealth Institute in London, and the Cosmic Egg, I kept seeing this Cosmic Egg, and I thought, better build a Cosmic Egg. And then I had this commission, and my brother Richard and myself, we worked in the loading bay, workshops of the GLC, which was in East London, and we created that piece in 3 weeks.
Wow. It looks like it would be painstakingly made for years.
Well, it was night and day. It was tough. I mean, our fingers were all bandaged by the time we finished, and but that's the intensity as well, because my work is like that. It's very intense, and you need to put the energy into it to get the energy. You feel that energy coming out.
Absolutely.
And there, the Cosmic Egg was born. And then at the end, Mrs. Thatcher dissolved, as you know, she dissolved GLC. So suddenly Cosmic Egg was left alone, nowhere to go. So they very kindly presented it to me, and now it's in my little museum in Beddew.
Were you like, oh, Thanks. Because it's huge. Where am I going to put this? I can just imagine it. Where does this all begin for you, Andrew? Your the sculptures and the art. Has this been a lifelong journey for you?
It has, yes. I mean, as a child, all the other kids were out at the playground playing. I was in the classroom drawing and painting. And I studied architecture because I wanted to help humanity. And I thought, well, everyone needs a roof under their head, so I'll start make buildings, houses for people to live in. But it was a 6-year course, and as I began to realise it's not quite as easy as that. And the last 2 years of my studies, I started to make just objects and just things. I started to make things out of mirror.
Was it a case of you letting your mind wander and just acting upon that?
No, it's quite focused actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was quite focused. And I stopped using found objects and recycling, a lot of recycling, kind of money. And so I started recycling really at the very beginning, which was 1960 something. And there's a couple of the pieces actually that I made at that time in the museum in Bury. And it was from there. Then I got offered a show, part of a show called 10 Sitting Rooms in London, the ICA, 1970. And then I met my first patrons, and the whole thing just started from there. And I work every day. I was working in the studio this morning.
Wonderful.
Yes. So
how does that feel to be able to? Because this must feel like breathing for you. To be able to get up and just express yourself in whatever way you may feel. I mean, I take it you must do a lot of commissions, or do you just make art for you?
Well, I make it for humanity.
Oh, nice.
My work is about joy, so rather than then I realised, so that's why I opened a museum. So it's full of joy, usually, so people make people smile, even just for a minute, and so that was my message to the world, and that's what I'm leaving this to the world to make it a better place.
Wonderful. Maybe come to the museum and bring some microphones and spend the day with you.
I would be delighted.
I'd love to do that.
Absolutely delighted.
This is a short little vox box that we can't fit your life into 10 minutes. I would like to sit for a good hour and talk about your life, because I think it's fascinating.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for chatting
Delighted.
to me today. And thank you. Have you got a piece here today, haven't you?
Yes, I've got a homage to Dali. It was a mobile cross.
Wonderful. I was looking at it. It's so nice.
Thank you.
It really is. Thank you for chatting to me today.
Lovely. Thank you.
My Beesley.
Oh, wow. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It's sold.
Somebody's bought your piece?
Yeah.
Well, just introduce yourself to our listeners, because I see you at so many events and we never get the microphone on you.
No, I'm very shy, really. So I'm Jane Beesley, and I'm originally from Yorkshire.
Yes.
But now live in Shrewsbury for the last 15 years.
And you are, like I said, you are synonymous. You are, wherever the art is in Shrewsbury, you are there.
I know, I can't believe it, because I was told at 13 not to bother. Really? And I only took up painting just before lockdown, 3 years ago. So, never say never, because it's just been brilliant and I love it. It makes my heart sing. And I get a good response, but I do it for myself, so if people like my work, that's just an extra bonus.
Well, I've got to say, you are a very prestigious exhibition tonight, and you've sold a piece.
I think it's the first one sold.
That's really nice.
And the funny thing is, I submitted 3, and this is my 3rd random one, and the one they chose. So you never know what's going to go in.
Talk us about the piece. What is this piece?
Well, I've called it the Building of Thunder because the theme is about movement.
Yes.
And so it's very limited palette. So it looks black, but it's actually something called Payne's Grey, which I love because it goes from almost black right through the greys into blue. So it's a very versatile.
I can see the through it. Yeah, that's.
And when the light catches it, you'll see different colours as well.
Well,
and then I like texture, so I try and build texture into things.
There was this white bit here, and there's a black piece over there, which is very textured as well.
Yeah.
one of my favourite shows of all time is Daredevil. It's a Marvel show.
Yeah.
And the bad guy in it, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, he sits and he stares at a piece of wall that when things were kicking off in his house, he would sit and disappear into.
Yeah.
And when he becomes like this mafia boss, he cuts that exact bit of wall out and he hangs it as a piece of art, because it can mean anything to anybody, do you know?
And that's what I like to do now with a lot of my titles, is to make them much more ambiguous, because what I see in them and what I think they're about, somebody else, it's what the viewer sees. So when somebody asks me, what's it about, I want to know, well, what you see.
What do you think it's about?
So it's really quite interesting. And if you get a good title with a painting, that can really help communicate a lot of things. I've got a solo exhibition coming up in September at Mrs. Jones, and that's all new work and much bigger work, and some of that is quite emotional, expressive landscapes. And I really know what some of those are about, but somebody else will look at them and get a completely different interpretation, and I love that. I love that about art. And I don't care if people like it or not, as long as I like it. But when somebody does, it gives you an extra buzz.
I was just explaining to John Wragg downstairs actually that from a young age I didn't really appreciate art for what it was. I used to love Dali, but Dali's not really hard to get emotional about.
No.
Whereas like some pieces like this, when I was younger, I just like, oh, whatever. Now I'm getting older and I'm learning more about artists and more about emotion and what goes into it. I can look at this piece now and get moved.
Yeah.
I've
had people cry, but in a lovely way. I've only been painting a short while, and I was really lucky. I won the Bellevue Arts competition, Sodom.
Yes.
Won the first year. I hadn't been painting a year. And I already had about 4 people wanting to buy it because they felt very emotional when they looked at it. And that was quite a shock to me, that people would feel like that about my work.
You're like Seabiscuit out the gate,
Oh, yeah. I like that. Look, it's because I'm wearing a horsey dress, isn't it?
I didn't even notice that, see.
I'm
getting the vibe from you.
Yeah, you are.
No, because you started painting after lockdown.
Just before
literally
lockdown. About a month before.
So during the pandemic then, were you locked inside with
Yeah,
just
this? Me and my cat. And I started by doing cartoons, a daily cartoon, which is like a COVID diary. And then they got published in a book. And then I saw this free online acrylics course. So I did that. So that was 3 years ago now that I started. So, it's just great fun. And I find it really sad when people say, I'm not creative. We are all creative. And just play. And it's that sense of play that you get lots of enjoyment around. You should see my attic room, which is now my studio, paint everywhere. Also, as part of Arts Trail, we've got an exhibition at the Hive, which is showcasing 8 women artists. So we've got more work in there.
Like I said, wherever there's art in Shrewsbury, there's Jane Beesley, and that's a really good thing. And what you are is an inspiration for those people that are sat at home thinking, I wish I could try.
Yeah.
And that's what you are.
Because I used to have a job that made my heart sing. I used to be an aid worker, and then I got cancer.
Okay.
And some quite radical operations and procedures.
And it had a new perspective on life for you?
Well, when you've been an aid worker, you've got a new perspective on life, I think, anyway, But, it also makes you think, life can be very short. And it changed my life completely.
I get that. Totally.
In everything that I do. And then discovering art. It's just fantastic. And the response, it was like reinventing yourself. And suddenly I've gone from Jane who has cancer, because that's who you become to other people.
Yeah, I get that.
Now I get, are you Jane the artist? So you get a new persona. So it's great reinventing yourself. And I can't believe now I've had 2 careers that when I was young I would never have dreamt I'd have been an aid worker or somebody that people call an artist.
Well, I think your work's phenomenal.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
to see you at so many events, and I'm so shocked that this is the first time I've got a microphone on you. Maybe we can organise a proper sit-down. I'd like that. Come round for an hour.
Would you like to come round to my house and see my
That'd
studio?
be really nice.
And meet my cat, who does tricks.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. We should absolutely organise this. I think it's long overdue. So I follow you on Instagram anyway, I think, and I'll drop you a message.
Yeah, drop my card?
Yes, I will do.
I don't have them printed. I make them out of bits of art.
Where can people find you, Jane?
People can find me at the moment in Glue. I don't know for how long. Shrewsbury Arts Society Summer Exhibition at St Mary's.
The Hive.
The Hive. Shrewsbury Museum.
Not for much longer. This got a red dot on it now. It's sold.
Yeah, it's sold.
Come and have a look, though.
The Greenhouse.
Okay.
Oberon.
Wow.
And Mrs. Jones' summer exhibition. I've got one piece in there as well. Yeah.
I've just got a little bit wobbly knees chatting to Andrew Logan, but it's you.
Yeah.
You should be a bit shell shocked.
Yeah. I know. I think there's a week I'm in 8 places. I mean, I can't. It's just. It's like living a little I live a fantasy life.
And that's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Are you on social media?
Yeah, I am. I'm on Instagram at jane.beesley, Beesley. I'm on Twitter. I can't quite remember what the...
Just give Jane Beesley a Google, guys, and give this lady a follow. She's fantastic.
And I've got a website.
There you go. Fantastic. Thank you for chatting to me today.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hello. So I'm Alex. I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
My name is Yulia Lavrenchuk. I'm Ukrainian artist. I'm almost a year in the UK. I came here because of war in my country, and I'm very thankful for the support of British people and arts community that gave me opportunity to exhibit my artwork here.
I'm lost for words. I really am, because
thank you.
What an incredible journey to come here and to be here showing your art today, despite what's going on back at home.
Yes, thank you. I think that this can this really helps me within this wartime in Ukraine, because my heart is there, but my imagination may produce such works, and I'm really lucky to be safe and to understand that my kids are also safe, and at this point of time, this is the greatest treasure I have. So thank you for a warm welcome. Thank you that I'm exhibiting here, and thank you. Pay attention.
No, thank you, because I think it's really important when it comes to art and culture and inspiration. I guess there's an Ukrainian community here now in Shropshire, and that you can talk about culture and you can talk about back home. How has that been for you? Is there lots of people from back home that you can speak to?
I'm always thinking about my country, and I'm still work for Ukraine. I have my colleagues who are defending my motherland at this very moment, and I'm really very worried because of them, and I do take care of them. So yes, as I told you, my heart is there, but I'm very lucky to be here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And tell us about this piece then. What does it mean to you?
This is sunset sailing, a very positive and optimistic artwork. I do love marine. I do love sea coast, so most of my works are about sea. In such a way I express myself, and
beautiful.
Yes,
Brilliant.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you for chatting to me today. So, I found the man. John, you all right? You good?
I'm good.
Had a good evening?
Very good evening, yeah. I met some really interesting people. The best part has been meeting Jacob Chandler.
Yes.
Because he lives in the village next to mine where I live in Telford. And I've lived there 5 years and never met another artist locally. So he's going to get in touch with me.
How amazing is that?
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, that's what I need. And it's what he needs apparently as well.
I've met some amazing people today.
Yes.
Usually on the Biscuit, familiar names pop up, and when it comes to events like this, I will speak to people again and again. I'll speak to Maggie Love today, who I've spoken to before, but there's always a new person and a new introduction.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
I think it's been very good tonight. Shrewsbury really needs to wake up to what it's got.
Absolutely.
And start to really pump some proper money into this thing.
Yes.
And all the other things that go on in this town, because you can see what it's done and what it will do if it's allowed to continue.
I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. Jess and the team, Ross Callaghan, and to Phil as well, who we spoke to, the organisers have really, really done something special, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Really special. And Shrewsbury should be aware of that and pump the necessary funds in.
So if you're listening, Shrewsbury, wake up. We'll talk about John Weaver as well.
Yes.
one of the pioneers of
a name that was unfamiliar to me.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
We're learning more all the time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much you invited me today. So thank you so much for bringing me along. I've met so many wonderful people.
Good.
I've learned a lot. And I'm sure we've put a great show together. So thank you so much.
I'm delighted you came, and I'm delighted that you found it so worthwhile.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Alex.
We'll keep in touch, and thank you so much.
Will do.
So there we go. What a great episode that was. A great collection of interviews by wonderful people. Very proud of this, actually. I think it was a really, really good night. I got some really good interviews. I'm so pleased to share this all with you. I want to say a huge thank you, of course, to John Wragg for inviting me along. Also as well to everybody that spoke to us. Now this arts trail is like, I think when you live in a town, I don't think you get a grasp of how big something is because you already live there and you see but this is a nationwide thing. We were speaking to Andrew Logan about the cosmic egg, and I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that the cosmic egg from last year was one of the most photographed things in Shrewsbury that year. People were coming from all around the country to take pictures with that, and it was just phenomenal. And the same with Dali today. During this event, these pieces have been exhibited for the first time in the UK because of this event. So that's how big it is, and it did get nationwide news as well. I saw the coverage. So to Jess, to Phil, to Ross Callaghan, to all the organisers for this event, well done. Seriously, well done. You've brought art, glitz and glamour and fame to Shrewsbury, and everybody's talking about it, which is fantastic. I want to give a special shout out to John Finn and to Paul Siroky. That was a really nice interview. I appreciate it's not always easy having conversations like this, but to have a good interpreter that's willing to bounce the conversation back into is truly commendable. I never forget the interview we did with Signal, where we spoke to a member of the hard hearing community with an interpreter there. Absolutely wonderful stuff. I love doing stuff like that on the Biscuit. So shout out to you, and as well, Timmy, and my wife. The next day on the Saturday, we went and looked at the Arts Trail. It was a really nice day. I'm a champion of Shrewsbury. I'm always like, go into town, guys. Go and do these amazing things. Be a tourist in your own town. I've said it on this episode as well, but I don't always have the time. Me, my wife, Timmy, and his friend. He had a sleepover. We were like, okay, let's go into Shrewsbury for the day, and we did the Arts Trail, and it was really, really nice. We got the booklet, and we followed the trail. And we had such a great time. We saw some amazing art. We saw some people. We went to Dough and Oil for food afterwards. It really is nice just to take a walk around your town, and look at what's about and teach your kids about culture. That's what this is all about. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'd love to hear any comments, suggestions. If you've got any compliments for the people that we spoke to, they all deserve a bit of a pat on the back for coming and speak to me. When you see me coming up to you with a microphone, it's very hard to escape, in all honesty. So anybody that does really well on the show deserves a pat on the back, but you all did fantastic. And if there's anybody you'd like to hear more of, more importantly, let me know and we will organise the feature. I think we've already broke the ice with a few people here that we can definitely branch out into getting feature interviews from. I've already started some of the process. So if there's anybody in particular you'd like to hear from, though, let me know and I'll let you. We'll start the ball rolling. Threads, I want to give that a shout out as well. Again, we've just started our Threads page. It's like, imagine Instagram meets Twitter. Nice visuals and just your open chat threads. Pretty much exactly the same as Twitter, but from what I can see, a very positive space. So if you're not on Threads already, don't be threatened by it. It's actually quite nice, and give us a follow on that. We're also on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter for now, we're on LinkedIn, and we're on TikTok too. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a really great episode to put together, and I gotta say, we're getting lots of requests for interviews and bits that people want to come on at the moment. We've got some really good stuff coming up with the Shrewsbury Biscuit. So if you just started listening and you're listening to us on Spotify or iTunes or whatever it is, just hit that notification bell or whatever it is, and you will get a notification ping whenever a new episode is up. So that's an easy way to find us. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll catch you on the next time, and have a great day. Peace out.